to get to my place wherever I decide to go to. But we got the snow rolling in, and it ain't just ordinary snows, but we got the snow himself, the snowman in the morning, Brian Snow, joining us here up onto the show. So, I mean, I'm not wrong for this when it comes to the outrage with Major League Baseball because it continues.
Hell no, you're not wrong with that. You're not wrong with that outrage. You're talking to a third generation Southsider, okay? I've been in both parks. I've been in Old Comiskey Park. I've been in New Comiskey Park. I've seen Ken Griffey Jr. play in person the night we clinched the division in 1993. I was part of the winning ugly generation. Thank you to my dad and my granddad. God rest both their souls. I was there when Scott Pasednik walked us off in game 2 against the Houston Astros. I didn't have a voice. My ears were ringing. And majestic is the uniform. Okay? Majestic is the uniform. What the hell does Fanatics have to do with this?
I know. It doesn't.
It's wrong. Sense. It's wrong. It's what it is.
Yeah,
it's dead wrong.
It's so dead wrong. And look, I understand it. They could filter out the fans, but when you got players literally voicing out about this, it's time to resolve the issue. And again,
it's time to pull them off the shelves and be done. Forget if the play. Okay. My wife doesn't like baseball, but she loves how some football players look, and she's familiar with some of the brands from being around me. If your players are complaining about the material, the feel, the fit, and if it doesn't make them feel faster, I think that's a clue that you need to pull them off the shelves before the first pitch on March 29th.
Yes.
Find the lie.
And think about this. I could be okay with if you told me these were just spring training uniforms and they are not the regular season ones. I could be like, okay, I better not see this again. But if these get rolled out in the regular season,
I'm not watching.
I think you already know what the outrage is going to be like for baseball fans.
Listen, Jake, you and I are baseball guys. We've talked about this off the air. If they roll these out on March 29th, they're not going to see my eyes.
No.
They're not going to. If Adam Silver, God bless him, can figure this out. If Gary Bettman, and anyone who has watched Snowman in the morning knows how I feel about Gary Bettman, if he can figure this out, and roll out the sweaters he rolled out for the Stadium Series, of which I saw on March 1st, 2014, along with 60,000 others in the snow at Soldier Field, and that began as a 60-degree day, believe it or not. If he can figure this out, Rob Manfred, you have a problem on your hands.
Yes.
And the first pitch of the regular season hasn't even been thrown yet.
Yeah. And I mean, how many lists of problems has Rob Manfred literally had to come across on his plate?
Because do we have time for that list?
Oh, dear Lord. I mean, I could name so many of them off the top of my head.
You're in Denver, Colorado. I'm not far from Chicago. I mean, those are two major cities. Do we have time for that list?
I mean, look, we already know that the reason of the Rockies debacle is because their front office.
Their front office sucks.
Oh, it's a family business. If you're not a part of the family business, you're not even a part of the big club. That's literally what it is.
That kind of describes the Dallas Cowboys, but who am I to gossip? So you ain't heard it from me. That kind of describes the New York Knicks. That kind of describes the New York Yankees, since we're talking baseball. And to be perfectly honest, it kind of describes a certain team on the north side of Chicago, which I have an unbridled hatred for, but I'm not one to gossip, so you ain't heard it from me.
Yeah, so I mean, so here's my thought about this. So, I mean, this next season of the NFL, we could clearly see that the Kansas City Chiefs are on everybody's radar, and including Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. But, but the thing about this,
They're on these guys' radar first.
oh man,
Because my wife bought me this hat. All right. She knows I'm a 49er fan. Matter of fact, one of the rules of the household is that the main answer is her team, which is the Indianapolis Colts. But she teases me all the time, knowing I'm a big 49er fan. You're right about the Chargers, but two things need to happen. One, they need a running back because Austin Eckler ain't coming back.
yes.
And two, they need to go back home. And home is
Oh,
San Diego.
mm-hmm. They needed to go back home to San Diego. I never understood the move from the beginning, but I think
Well,
part of that is
here's what happened.
Spanos. It's like, yeah,
Well, you just said the main reason. Spanos. I would say a couple of other words in front of it, but I'm not going to do that. At least not here. Listen, SoFi Stadium was supposed to house the Rams and the Raiders.
yeah.
How the Chargers got mixed up in all this, I will. If you know it's bad when people who follow football in my family come to me and say, "Why are the Chargers in Los Angeles?" What the hell are you asking me for? I always say San Diego Chargers. You've seen clips of me. I always say San Diego Chargers.
Yep. And so many other analysts have. Yeah.
I can't say for as long as I followed football, for as long as I've been an analyst of football, I cannot say Los Angeles Chargers. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Oh, neither could I. And here's the thing. If given the opportunity and at the time going back to it, I would have been okay with if they moved to Las Vegas. I felt like that is a new culture.
Yep.
That is a new fan base that now
Yep.
allows everybody, because you put them in Los Angeles, they're not gonna. Nobody wants them there. It's a Raider, Ram, Dodger town and Laker town. It's like, why would you even add them?
It was a Laker town until Steph Curry put a foot in their asses last night, but we're not going to discuss that.
I mean, if you're talking Silicon Valley and Santa Clara County, I mean, yeah. But I mean, if we're going from like Orange County to like right down south, I mean, it's all diehard Laker. It's not
all
Clippers.
diehard
Well,
Lakers.
let's not get it mixed up with the Clippers just because they're playing good right now, but it's not Clipper town. It has never been.
You know what? I liken the Clippers to the way people have likened the White Sox for years until we won our World Series in 2005.
Oh, yeah.
But the Clippers are never going to win a title. Why? They don't know what the hell they're doing.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. Maybe this year could be a possibility, but we'll wait on that in the Western Conference because, I mean, you've got a Phoenix.
This is full of water. This could be full of vodka. Does that tell you? And I am not much of a drinker. Does that tell you anything?
So,
I mean, it's a Laker town for life. The Clippers have no business. They had no business moving to Los Angeles in 1984. They got no business being there now. And they're supposed to have a new arena built there. For what?
Yeah.
For what?
Oh, yeah. It's going to be interesting when MSG Arena is going to be built up. I mean, my hope is if it's as good as they say it is, I mean, hey, I'm fine with concerts. I'm fine with games, but you gotta not have this narrative of being the redheaded stepchildren of Los Angeles if you're literally going to be living there and you already know it's ran by the Lakers. So it's like, yeah.
There's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Ballmer and company have not gotten the memo. The same way Dean Spanos and company have not gotten the memo about it being a Rams town.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, 100%. So what's interesting about next year's, so the draft is going to be coming up, and I mean,
I'm going to be all over it. You know, I'm going to bug the daylights out of you to come on.
So my thought is because I mean, the last time we had an overhaul of quarterbacks was 2020. We had 5 of them. Mm-hmm. Tua was questionable until Mike McDaniel came into the building.
Wrong. Tua is still questionable.
Well, yes. We started we started seeing that by the time it got too cold. Obviously, Miami is not built for cold weather in the postseason. We
We
clearly
started
knew
seeing
that.
that after he got banged around by Cincinnati.
Yes, but we did see him be a productive quarterback in the regular season. Now,
True.
this year, I've got potentially almost 9, 10 quarterbacks this year. I could pull off at least like 3, 4 of them that I know that are going to be on the bottom half, but
Yep.
they could still be valuable, which is Sam Hartman.
Yep.
I do think Joe Milton, if put
Correct.
in the right space, he could be a really good productive quarterback. And then I would also particularly say because I mean there's so many of them that I know for a fact that could be very sneaky as long as the situation works for them.
Jaden Daniels.
Yes, well, Jaden Daniels. So this is what's interesting. So these 5 quarterbacks or 6 of them now that have been talked about: AJ McCarthy,
Yep.
Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, and Michael Penix. So my only thought is, and this happens to us every year, we get this many quarterbacks and only one falls off, which is like we thought we had this in 2020 because the only late rounder in the second round was Jalen Hurts. And so to me, my thought is my guess, I like him, but if you draft him, you better have a really good left tackle to support him, and that's Drake May. I watched him in the pocket, and there was one piece of film, and when I watched the pass rush come at him on his blind side, he was
ready.
stiff as a stone.
He wasn't.
That is one of the things I am very fearful for. But as far as the other quarterbacks, I mean, like I said, I think Atlanta could definitely work on Michael Penix. I think Jaden Daniels as somebody who can open up space out of the pocket, but also give you accurate throws. And as I've said, my sleeper of the draft is going to be Bo Nix because he has it.
Oh yeah,
since he's been in Oregon, and he has like we've seen moments in Auburn, but when you're around Dan Lanning in Oregon, he has been he has had no mistakes.
None.
He's only thrown 3 picks since he's been in Oregon. That is it. So my thought is you put him in Denver or you put him in Minnesota. That could be a quarterback.
Minnesota's not going to be smart enough to draft Bo Nix. They're too stuck on Kirk 2 Chainz Cousins.
Well, here's the thing, though. I think they're over that, though, because, first of all, if you're not winning primetime games and you're not even winning you just got embarrassed by Daniel Jones and the Giants the last time you were in the playoffs. That's not going to go over well. So my hope is
you don't have to go. You don't have to go over that one because I watched that one live, and my wife looked at me and went, "What?" I mean,
my hope is that you want to keep Justin Jefferson in Minnesota because you already got a home run in Jordan Addison.
Yep.
And you got TJ Hawkinson. All you could do is get a running back. The offensive line, it's going to figure itself out in the next couple drafts.
True.
But to your opinion, seeing these quarterbacks, is there anyone that basically comes out to you that you feel like, you know what? I've watched his approach. I watch how poised he is in the pocket. And I think that is going to be a franchise quarterback wherever he gets drafted from.
Bo Nix. Bo Nix, and I won't even blink. The close second would be Michael Penix. And I'll tell you and I will say a one-word reason for both of them. Experience. Experience. Hell, Michael Penix played in the national championship game.
Yep.
Michael Penix and his left-handed sling played in a national championship game. That's enough experience for me. And of course, I'm going to bring 2 quarterbacks to mind that had the greatest amount of experience that just played in the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, Brock Purdy. And everybody wants to hate on Purdy because of the one attribute that I'm saying that Bo Nix and Michael Penix can bring to you immediately. Experience. You put a playbook in their hand, they will know it by the end of the day.
Yeah, and that is interesting because my thing is like Bo Nix compared to Brock Purdy. I think Bo Nix, honestly, like he's got similar football IQ, but
Yep.
I do think he does throw a better ball to an extent.
Mm-hmm.
But I also do think he does have the similar capability of running out of danger when the pocket collapses.
He did it in Oregon for 2 years.
Yes, he did. And so I'm a firm believer that I think Bo Nix will be that guy. And I do
Mhm.
think because I've said it before, we felt this way about Justin Herbert. And then the second he came into the league, he took the league by storm and said, you know what? Patrick Mahomes has a new challenger in front of him.
Put an
And so
offensive line in front of Justin Herbert, and how high scoring would be those games between them and the Kansas City Chiefs. And I would also tell you that had it not been for an enormous gaffe 3 years ago
yep.
in Los Angeles, not only would the Chargers have won that game, it would not have taken overtime, and the Chargers would have walked off with that division.
And the funny thing is, this is the same quarterback who went toe to toe with the GOAT, with Tom Brady.
Yep.
I
He
mean,
matched him foot pass for pass.
God, I really thought they were going to have a chance against Tampa Bay because that was such a damn good back and forth.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
That's one of those games. Let me make a good comparison here. That's one of those Joe Montana, John Elway type games where you expect to see 800. Let me change that. That's one of those Dan Marino, Jim Kelly type divisional games where you see 800 yards of passing offense alone.
Yes. So here's an interesting topic. I'm going to get into this in the bottom half of it, but
all right.
Mike Tannenbaum.
Oh,
I think you already know what I'm about to say, and there's a reason why he's unemployed by the NFL.
And you wonder if he's ever going to be employed.
But to have the audacity to say Russell Wilson could work in New York with the Jets with Aaron Rodgers,
Timeout.
he's okay with being a backup. And I'm like, what? In what planet Earth does that make sense?
First of all, you wonder why Mike Tannenbaum is no longer employed by any NFL team. Second of all, you want to put Russell Wilson in the same sentence as 4 Days to Darkness, Aaron Rodgers himself.
Yes.
Now, what's the common denominator? I'm going to say something that'll really ruffle some feathers, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. What's the common denominator between Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers? It's a 3-word sentence. They're both finished.
But here's the funny thing. You're asking a Super Bowl champion to back up another Super Bowl champion. How does that work? It's like
and who the hell says Russell Wilson would take that offer?
I mean, let alone his wife is going to be making a fortune, whether she's in New York or Las Vegas
or anywhere.
Los Angeles. Like, but I don't know how that even. I don't even know how you could even add 2 and 2 together when it comes to Mike Tannenbaum. But it's just like
I said, this is full of water, and if I was a drinker, this would be full of alcohol. You tell me which one Mike Tannenbaum hit first before he opened his mouth and inserted his foot.
So, okay. So I got to get your opinion up on this. So recently we've had the NBA All-Star game. And let me just say, what a drag of an
I watched 2.5 minutes of All-Star Weekend, and they involve Steph Curry and Sabrina Ionescu. Next question.
Oh man. And look, I've only watched 10 minutes of that All-Star game. And I was like, no, I'm done here.
That's 11 minutes too much.
Yeah. So my thing is, so 2 parts. Number 1, the dunk contest. Stephen A. Smith came out and basically said, and I don't think I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong, but
Mm-hmm.
I do think his output on this kind of makes people think outside the box and says LeBron James is responsible for the downfall of the dunk contest. I do think he makes a point of this for several reasons.
Mm-hmm.
One, we've watched years of watching Dominique Wilkins.
And
We've watched
Michael Jordan.
Michael Jordan. I mean, we've watched even times of when we would watch Kobe and Shaq, and we've even watched Dwight Howard.
With the
Where in the
Superman group.
hell are where in the hell are all of our big time dunking superstars at? Zion, Giannis.
Giannis.
Why are we now starting to trend downhill? Like, look, I'm okay with the Zach LaVine thing in Minnesota, but after that, you didn't have anybody else. Like, is he right? Is he right about that?
Yeah. Because LeBron is too chicken to participate in the slam dunk contest because he's got no creativity. Does his in-game stuff tell you anything, folks?
Oh yeah.
Does LeBron's in-game persona and his in-game talent, if you want to call it as such, tell you anything about what would happen if he were to participate in a slam dunk contest? You thought the ratings were through the floor then? Imagine if he actually decided to show up and show out.
Yeah, I mean, LeBron James, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. He could still be the Swiss Army knife in the NBA, but the NBA is in good hands because we have Luca, we got Giannis, we now have Wemby.
You
In
got
the,
number 30 in San Francisco.
yes,
You
you've got
got him. You got number 34 in Milwaukee. The
Mm,
league was the league was supposed to transition from an era of Kobe Bean Bryant to LeBron James. Here's the problem. Wardell Stephen Curry II intercepted that.
mhm. Yeah, and I think honestly, like, and so this is my second part up on this is the NBA All-Star game. I mean, All-Star games, the only one that I could consider was really successful is Major League Baseball's All-Star game. The
Yep.
reason of it is because players are mic'd up. Players have fun when they're there on the field, and they're
Yes.
not so susceptible to injuries. Whereas I'm getting 0 effort in the NBA All-Star game. I'm getting
211 points.
I'm getting a flag football game in the NFL,
Oh
and then
God.
I'm getting this 3-on-3 in the NHL. So it's like I'm okay with keeping the contests,
Mm-hmm.
but I would get rid of the game entirely if you're not gonna basically play with or instill some type of importance of these games. Home field
You know how
advantage.
you fix that problem? You incentivize their greed. You
Mm.
walk in, you say, "Look, I'll give the winning team will get $10 million a piece if you show some effort." The first All-Star game I watched was 1982 at the Meadowlands in New Jersey when a defensive play won the game. Thank you, Larry Joe Bird. I watched the game in 2001 in Washington where a defensive play decided the game. Thank you, Allen Iverson. Does that tell you anything?
Yeah.
When people actually care, when let me go ahead and say my entire sentence. When players actually cared about playing defense, even though it's an exhibition game, and I've had so many modern NBA fans come at me saying, "You can't say this All-Star game sucked." Read my lips. The All-Star game sucked.
It was just such a snooze fest. Like
And
barely any effort into like look, you got over 200 points. Okay, you did something, but it was 0 effort at the end of the night.
hell, Magic Johnson's Midsummer Nights Classic produced a 200-point game, but they were still playing defense, for God's sakes.
Yeah, oh man. I don't know what possibly they could do it. Look, I've been to the NHL All-Star game in Vegas when they held it. And I thought it was
Did they turn off the lights?
fantastic. Oh,
Did they turn
yeah.
off? Did they put on a show like they do for every
Oh,
Vegas home game?
100%. I mean, you
Because
got the
every
puck
Vegas,
passing. Yeah.
I'm a Blackhawks fan by nature, but I'm a Vegas Golden Knights fan also because, and this is what got me hooked on the Golden Knights. One, my good buddy Rod Peterson.
Yep.
Secondly, they always come up with something new for the introductions.
Yes, they do.
They
And
come up with something new every time for the introductions, and then the Knights just go out and put a foot in you.
that's why the production team is A+ rated.
Oh,
That's why,
agreed.
yes, and that's why, like, even in the All-Star game, when they did the puck relays, or they basically did like the pass shots. I mean, you had poker cards that as and then you also had like the entire backdrops. I mean, it was meant to be this kind of huge introduction and a huge production role that Vegas loves to put on. And now it kind of gives the whole narrative of, oh, I don't know how I feel about playing in Vegas. Now you're like, oh, I can't wait to play in Vegas.
Then you got the Super Bowl should always be in Vegas.
Oh, 100%.
After what I saw 2 weeks ago when
Give me Miami or give me Hawaii back for the Pro Bowl.
Look, hurry up and blow the piss out of and fix Aloha Stadium in Honolulu. Please. Here's how you fix the Pro Bowl. First of all, the NFL has a ton of money on reserve. You blow up Aloha Stadium and you bring the game back to Hawaii. Don't tell me you can't build a stadium within 8 months in Honolulu, Hawaii, and can't attract a big crowd like the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors did on a weekly basis. That's how you fix the Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl games, get that out of here.
Oh God, the Pro Bowl like skills. It was meant to be a vacation spot. That's what it was literally like.
You remember when players used to get excited about playing in the Pro Bowl because it was across the ocean in Hawaii?
The skills were more interesting and they were fun-filled, and it was beautiful being by
because you had it because it was on the island. It was in Hawaii. Besides the Super Bowl, that was the destination.
Yes.
That was the destination, man. Now you're having the Pro Bowl played in Orlando? What? What the hell is wrong with this picture? You could play a football game at Camping World. Look, they play college football at Camping World Stadium, okay? There was nothing back in the day about having the best of the best of the best play in Honolulu, especially when the Hawaii Warriors were getting very popular and the University of Hawaii had winning football teams. You tie all that together and you got one hell of a vacation spot.
Yep. 100%.
You know what you do? You put the Super Bowl in Hawaii. How about that?
Yeah.
You can have it at Allegiant Stadium. Look, don't ever have the Super Bowl at SoFi Stadium ever again. Ever.
I mean, hell, if we're able to have UFC on Fight Island,
yep,
we should be able to do this with the Super Bowl.
Exactly. If you could put the Super Bowl in Honolulu, Hawaii, do you know how many people would bust their rump to get to Honolulu, Hawaii?
Oh, it would be. I mean, good God, my wife and I. Look. I mean, I could watch the football game, but it's a vacation spot for my wife and I. We'd go there. We'd be all around the island. We probably would be sipping up on really good, sweet alcoholic drinks, and probably with the umbrella right there, right on the inside. And
it would be a big ass umbrella. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
because if they have the Super Bowl and the Pro Bowl in Hawaii, and I got credentials for it, the first person I'm telling is Jody, my wife. Like, baby, we're going to Hawaii, and we ain't leaving for 2 weeks.
Absolutely. Oh, man.
I'm like, we ain't leaving for 2 weeks. I know my wife's eyes would just go this big. And when are we leaving? We are leaving in 48 hours.
Yep.
We are leaving. We ain't coming back for 2 weeks. Anybody that wants to catch us, look at the pictures.
Yep.
And I know you and your wife would do the same. Take a ton of pictures and stick your tongue out and go, nah, we're in Hawaii and you ain't.
Exactly. I mean, just a vacation spot in general. We're such
Mhm.
such travelers, and we'd love to, enjoy every moment and every experience behind it. But
I made my wife a promise that when I get completely healthy, we're going to do a lot of traveling.
mhm. Oh man, I'm so happy to basically see you as healthy as ever and being behind the mic and just doing exactly what you love. We've been talking about this for quite a while, and to
We have.
finally to
We have.
finally have the opportunity to do it, absolutely a home run hitter from there, man. I appreciate you taking the time, being up onto the show. Where can people find you when it's snowy up out there and they got to catch the snowman in the morning?
SNWMN Multimedia on all of my socials, including my new YouTube channel. And I applaud you for opening with that baseball rant because I was sitting in the back just laughing my ass off. And I'm sitting there saying, he's saying everything that I'm saying about
Oh my
baseball,
god,
man.
you and Deb were literally having a ball at it. It's like,
I mean, look, my wife doesn't like baseball. She's told me that, but she honors me because I love baseball. I was doing a live stream in here one day, and I think it was the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros. And I didn't want to disturb her because I know how excited I get when I'm doing a play-by-play call. I went to bed and I said, "Baby, I hope I didn't disturb you with that walk-off home run call." She flipped over and went, "Huh?" I'm like, "Okay, I'm good."
I mean, my walk-off call when the Dodgers and the Rays were playing was just out of this world. I
I
mean,
bet it was.
oh god. That was the best video I had in my last place, in the last place I worked at, and so
Nice.
yes, and so
Very nice.
oh man, it was so good, but
Well,
that's why a lot of people are like, "Dude, you've gotta call the Super Bowl. You've gotta call the World Series. You've gotta call a lot of these games."
you know what? My wife came to me when when Championship Sunday happened, when everything was determined, it was the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Lions and the 49ers. I signed off here after the divisional round miracle for San Francisco against Green Bay. And my wife looked at me and she says, "You're doing both games, aren't you?" I said, "I'm at least doing the 49ers game." She says, "No, you're doing both games, aren't you?" And she had this wicked look in her eye, and I'm going, "Oh no." I said, "Yes, baby, I'm doing both games." She says, "Good. You tell me what you want to eat, and I will get it.
Mm.
You're on."
There you go. There you go from there. Well, Brian, I appreciate you coming up onto the show, man. As
Thank
always,
you.
you knocked it out of the park, man.
Thank you.
Such a great collaboration, and hope to definitely have you up onto the show soon. But producing
Listen,
great content as you do, man, is great.
you're talking sports. You'll always find me. And I'll give you one my favorite power hitters of all time. They were teammates once upon a time, Ken Griffey Jr., and of course the big herd Frank Thomas.
Yep, 100%, man. I absolutely, I loved the bat speed of Barry Bonds, but
Yes.
the guy I really like. I mean, it's so hard because there's a long list of them. Because I could go from Jeff Bagwell
Yep.
to, at the very least, Derek Jeter is a hitter, but then
Derek Cheetah.
time, yeah, it's like there's so many lists of them. But I appreciate you, man. Thank you for taking the time. Hope to see you definitely soon. We're gonna do this again.
I appreciate you having me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, what a great collaboration of interviews that we've had. But I do